Today I'm gonna be telling y'all the story time of when I found out my ex was cheating. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell. And let's get right into the video. Okay, guys. So let's get into the story. When I found out my ex was cheating on me. I see a piece of it on my. I don't know where it's at. Okay, I got it. Okay, let's just say his name is Jonathan. Um, yeah, okay, I don't know where to start because so much has happened, um, between me and him. So let's just start it from the beginning. Okay, in 2014, me and my friend, my best friend at the time, we're no longer best friends. Um, at the time, we were the best friends for 11 and a half years or 12 and a half years. Um, and um, we went to the dance, and it was a quinceañera, and we were just there, being kids. At the time, I was 16, and she was 16, and we were just playing around, joking around, like horse playing with friends, and then we came across this. Well, she was friends with this one guy, and um, we started all playing together, horse playing together, and then I didn't know he was friends with that group of guys that my ex was in, and what's it called? We all came together as one all of a sudden, like we all like conjoined, and they were teasing me, they were messing with me, like they were bullying me. Um, I had chanclas on that day, and somebody stepped on my freaking chancla, and it broke at a dance. Yes, and I had to be barefooted. It was so embarrassing. Like, okay, that's not the point. Anyways, see me getting off topic already. Um, so yeah, we meet, and he's like, they're like bully Cassie, like pick on Cassie and stuff like that. And so we go home. My mom comes to pick up me and my best friend, and what a coincidence. He asks my best friend and says, "Do y'all think y'all can give us a ride home?" And she asks me, and I'm like, hold on, let me go ask my mom. It was rainy that day, so imagine walking out without a chunga in that mud and rocks and everything. So I go and ask my mom, and she says, well, yeah, tell him to hurry up. And I said, okay. So I go and tell my best friend, and she tells them, yeah, we can give you a ride. And they said, all right. Oh, I see another piece of glitter. Okay. And so we go and we give them a ride home. We go home. We didn't communicate at all, me and Jonathan. But I would see that he would post on Facebook that he was sad, he was heartbroken, like he was being mistreated, like they didn't care about his feelings, and like me being a caring person as I am, I message that person whether I know you or not. I'll message you and be like, hey, I hope everything's okay, keep your head up, one day you'll find the right one, trust me. That's what I was telling him. And he's like, yeah, but I don't think I would ever find the right one. I really love and like this girl, and yada yada yada. And I'm just telling him, just keep your head up, you'll find the right one day. Just be patient, stuff like that. And so, what's it called? I message him again because I see that he posts this, that he's sad again. And I tell him, and then he's like, yeah, no, thank you. And I said, you're welcome. We didn't talk. Me and him, we set up this date to go to the dance, right? So we go to another dance, and oh no, rewind. We start to hang out, and he wants to go bowling. So I'm like, you're gonna have to come inside the house and meet my dad because he needs a face to the name. In case anything happens to me, he knows who to look for. You know, he knows who to go and boom, 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 boom. And so he's like, all right. So I go out. He texts me, I'm here. I go outside to get him, and I'm already nervous as it is because it's our first date together. And what's it called? He comes inside, he meets my dad, and we leave, and he's like, your dad looks mean, like, I'm like, oh, it's okay, that's just how he looks, you know. He's like, alright, so we went bowling, and then yada yada yada. We went to another dance, and then we were seeing each other, so I considered that as we were dating, you know, because he would tell me things that you tell a person in a relationship, right? So me being the dumb, my dumb self back then, I would get attached too fast, and that was my problem, and that was one of my life lessons till now, to the future. I don't get attached fast and stuff like that. Okay. So me being my dumb self and 16-year-old self, I started to fall for him. He's telling me all these things, you know, that a girl wants to hear. I love you, stuff like that. I never want to lose you. You're my one and only, and stuff like that. And I'm there like believing it, and so months pass. It's I had got a message in December 16th. I got a message. I still remember it. And it was my cousin. And she was texting me, and she said, I wish I had the receipts, but they're in a computer, and it's my dad's computer, and I don't know where he has everything. And so she texts me about Jonathan and says, hey, look, I don't want you to get hurt, but he's seeing my friend. And I'm just like, nah, like, this isn't right. I had messaged Jonathan, and I was like, hey, look, when my cousin messaged me, and is it true? And he's like, no, they're just hating, because I'm with you, they're just trying to break us up, and stuff like that. But anyways, what? Get one. And so, here, take one to brother. Here, give one to brother. Give it to brother. Thank you. And so, I messaged Jonathan, and I'm like, is it true you're seeing this other girl? And he's like, no, they're just hating, they're just trying to break us up, they don't like seeing us together because we're happy, yada yada yada. I'm like, okay. So I go against my cousin, and I'm like, nah, y'all just trying to break us up, y'all don't like that we're happy, stuff like that. And then she's like, okay, believe what you want. You get your heart broken, you get your heart broken. You know, you're gonna find out the hard way, basically. So, things happen. My mom gets a call one night. She comes to the room and she's like, "Hey, am I on?" Oh, she calls me and she asks, "Can I speak to your mom?" And I say, "Yeah, hold on." I go call my mom. I give my mom the phone, and then my mom puts her on speaker, and what's it called? She's like, "Is Cassie around? Can she hear me? Because I don't want her to find out. I don't want her to hear." My mom's like, "No, no, no. It's not on speaker. You can. She's not around." But actually, I was right beside my mom. We were on my bed. She goes and tells my mom everything with this. Let's call her Perla. Okay, everything between Jonathan and Perla is true. And my mom's like, "Oh, really?" And I'm there like, "Are you serious? Like, you was just telling me that they were just trying to break us up. Like, how are you gonna tell me that and lie like that, you know?" And so they talk, they hang up, and hold on, let me turn this down. I ain't trying to get copyright. And so they get off the phone. I text him and be no, I never texted him. And then I was already heartbroken, you know, like finding out the truth through his mom and why he just couldn't tell me when I was asking him myself, you know. And so I never got that. Well, a few months pass. It's February. We barely see each other. He has to sneak out and text his dad to ask him to come bring him to see me. Which sometimes we only saw each other for like 2 minutes, or the most was like 5 minutes, you know. And so one night he texts me, or his mom calls me and says, "Hey, I'm coming by to bring you something from Jonathan." I said, "Okay." And so I'm already emotional as it is, you know, and because of everything I found out. She tells me she's on her way and to give me something from Jonathan, and I hear a knock on the door, and I'm terrified, terrified. I'm scared to go see what it is, you know, I'm scared to go. And my mom, all I hear is her talking, and then I hear her say, "Yeah, hold on. Cassie, come here. It's Sandy." And I said, "Okay, hold on, I'm coming." So I go and I see it's this big old white huge teddy bear and a chocolate and what's it called? Those big old huge Valentine's Day cards. And I had got him something for Valentine's Day too. And so I give it to her and say, "Can you give this to him?" And she says, "Yeah." With me not knowing, he was inside the car crying. Because his mom told him what she was gonna tell me. When she was giving me the stuff, she started telling me, "You and Jonathan can no longer see each other. He has to go away. There's a lot of things happening and going on. You're not able to see each other, blah, 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 you know." So I start crying, and she starts rubbing my back, and she hugs me, and so yeah, there goes that night, and I can't even text him, you know, because we're not allowed to communicate at all because there's whatever was going on, whatever the case that was going on. Well, we're still talking, kind of like, you know, without people knowing. And so we start texting again, and he didn't care what his mom said. He had to move to Minnesota. Okay. He's in Minnesota, I'm way over here. We're like hours away from each other, you know. And what's it called? I was already 17. You know, I was still he had called me in February. He gave me this stuff for Valentine's Day, which was like a week before Valentine's or 2 weeks before Valentine's. And in January, he had called me on my birthday, which is New Year's, once it turned 12 o'clock, and said, "Hey, happy birthday, I'm the first one to tell you happy birthday, blah, blah, blah." Okay, now we fast forward back to where we're at. He's in Minnesota. I'm way over here. We're still texting. And I asked him, you know, is it true, about, you and Perla? He's like, no, it's not. It's just a lie. They're just trying to get me in trouble. Don't believe them, you know. And so I kept it at that, you know. But deep down in my heart, I knew that wasn't right, you know. That part of me, deep down in my heart, told me he's lying to you, right? And so, what's it called? We're still talking, and you know, and he's way over there, so it's like I'm way over here. My dad joins this band, and they're 15 minutes away. They live 15 minutes away from us, and he joins this band. Me and my mom and my sister, we decide to go with my dad one day when they're practicing. And I meet my dad's friend, his son, which he's in the band. Mind you, he's way older than me. At the time, he was way older than me. I was 17, he was 22. And I just fell for his personality, you know, and I was stuck. I was in a bind. I was like, well, he's way over there. I can never see him at all until I don't know when. And we were already having problems. And then I meet this guy.
Mom.
What?
Mom.
What?
Pee-pee.
Yeah. And then I meet this other guy. And I just fell for his personality, you know. We became close friends because we would go with my dad to practice. And so we just got close. And so Jonathan, I don't know, he just started going crazy. I went through so much, like, it's crazy, like, thinking about it. Before he moved to Minnesota, oh no, I'm lying. Okay, yeah. During he lived in Minnesota, he would text me pictures of knives and pictures of pills, saying that he's gonna kill himself, that he's gonna drug himself, he's gonna OD. And I'm there like, no, don't do that. I'm like the worried girlfriend, you know, because I really care and I really love this dude. And this boy has like, he's being selfish, real selfish. He's only thinking about himself and his feelings. Like, oh, like he could be behind the phone laughing, or you know, like, oh, it's just a joke, but I'm gonna send it to her anyway. When me, on the other hand, over here crying, don't know what to do. I can't get a hold of his mom because I'm not supposed to be talking to him. Mom. And it was like that for months. What? Baby. Yeah, puppy. It was like that for months, and one time he called me on the phone, and well, that night he had sent me pictures of a knife as well and heels. He said he was gonna cut himself and that he was gonna OD, that he was in an OD, and so I think I called him or he called me, and he's like going berserk or whatever you call it, like crazy, and he's like, I'm gonna go hang myself on the tree. There's a what is it called, a noob, and I don't know what it's called. Don't want, you know, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, I'm scared for my life because yes, I'm talking to him over the phone, but I'm not there physically to stop him, you know? Everybody's asleep, supposedly. So I'm there, like, trying my hardest. And then he's like, no, I'm gonna kill myself. And then I hear him drag the knife, like, on the counter, you know, where it goes, like, you know. And I'm like, no, don't do that. And then I hear him grab heels. And then I'm just there trying to stop him. And this boy, I don't know, I put up with that for a month, 4 months, and then one night I'm there worried about him, you know. My best friend, I'm texting my best friend and him, and I'm worried about him because of what he's telling me and stuff like that. My little sister was in the bed with me at the time. She was asleep already. I text my best friend and I'm telling her like everything that's going on, and she says, hold on, let me text Jonathan and see what's going on. I said, okay. Well, she's like, he told me stuff, but I don't want to tell you. I'm not supposed to tell you. And I'm like, okay. My light bulb in my head that turns on, and I'm like, now I want to know, like, what's going on. Well, she's like, I'm going to tell you, but don't let him know that I told you. I said, okay. And she begins to tell me that he slit his throat. He dislocated his shoulder. He fractured his ankle. Something about his knee, that he got hit by a car all in the same night. All because of who? Because of me. Because I broke up with him. And y'all don't know how I felt. I felt like a really horrible person. You know, I was just like, dang, this person, he's also told my best friend that the reason he's alive is because they caught him in time to save him. And I'm there thinking like, bruh, like, all of this because of me, because I broke up with him. Like, I'm the reason for somebody almost killing themselves, you know. I felt like a horrible person. I had to cover my mouth up from my sister hearing me cry, because it was like that uncontrollably cry. And I don't know, I don't know, like, it was just an ugly feeling, you know. I held that with me, and from that day, I was real depressed. I was like extremely overly depressed. What I would do, I would not leave my room. I would stay in my room day in and day out. I would just be on the computer. I would wake up, cry. I would be crying all day, basically. Get on the computer, start writing music, and just cry all day. That's all I did. I didn't get out to eat. I didn't get out to drink. I barely remember getting out to go to the use restroom. And when I did, I would just go straight to my room. And I was just real depressed. And this boy didn't even bother to consider how I feel. Like, well, if I say this, how is she gonna feel? Basically, I see that he said all those things just to get back at me, just because I broke up with him, you know? And the only time I wouldn't think of it or wouldn't cry is when rarely I would go with my dad again to his practice, and I would talk to my friends, you know, because those were the only friends I had besides my other friend, my best friend at the time. And so yeah, and a month later, he comes back to my town, and I'm hanging out with his best friend, one of his best friends, because he's friends with me and my best friend. We went all to the park. I didn't know they had it planned that they were gonna surprise. Oh yeah, I did. We had it planned. Well, my best friend and my friend at the time, his best friend, planned to get me to surprise him at the park. And I was happy, like I was real happy. And then when we were hiding, and then when we were walking to them to surprise them, but like he had turned around and seen us, and well, at the time I was so happy. And then when I seen him, when he turned around and looked at me like that, it changed. I felt anger. I felt anger. I felt hurt. I felt betrayed. I felt all these things, you know, and I just felt all these things towards him because of everything he put me through, you know. And he left because I didn't go up to him. He left because he was feeling his own type of feelings, you know. He left when I was sitting by myself and I was crying. I was angry. I had called my mom, and I was talking to my mom, and I told her I just feel all this anger towards him. I don't love him, you know. I don't love him anymore because of everything he put me through. He doesn't even have a brace on his knee. He doesn't have no freshly scar on his throat. He doesn't have all these things that he said that happened to him. Like, you know, he didn't have a full cast, and hey, stop. And so, yeah, like, so, yeah, like, like, that didn't cross my mind at the time, you know, like, I didn't really care for that. I just cared that I was angry towards him, stuff like that. And then, we started seeing each other again. What's it called? Dude, we got back together. And, we had got back together. I had told him what my friend at the time, his best friend, the ones that we were at the park with, that when we were all hanging out this one time, and then he was taking all of us home, instead of my boyfriend, Jonathan, staying with us so they could drop me off first, you know, and then drop him off because it's like, you know, who would want their girlfriend alone with their best friend, you know? And who knows that always tries to make a move on me, right? Who wants that? But apparently Jonathan did. He decides to get dropped off first, and I'm alone with him, his best friend, my friend. And he tells me, my phone, I'm texting him like, he doesn't want to take me home. He drove to the park, and we're here, and he said he's not taking me home. That, and I don't want to walk home because it's dark, and it's a long way from my house. And there was this big old group of people walking around, like, kind of looking like they were troubled people. And I don't want to get gang raped or something, you know? And so, my phone dies. And we're there at the park, and I'm just like, okay, like, he didn't want to take me home. His best friend made a move on me. And who gets blamed for it? Me. It's my fault because he made a move on me. Apparently to him. I didn't want to tell him because he was already crazy as it is. I was getting advice from my best friend first on what to do when he decided to be being nosy and being like, kind of like those people where you're on your phone and they snatch your phone out of your hand, and they're like, who you texting? Like, kind of like jealous. It's jealousy. And well, he saw, and then he went crazy. Started punching the car, the inside of the car, the outside of the car, and blaming me, saying it's my fault when I couldn't literally do nothing. And so, yeah, and then, like, he made me feel so bad. He's the reason that I had, okay, and so he made me feel so bad that, when I got home, my brother and his friends were at the table, and my sister, they were all playing Monopoly, and I went into the restroom, and, I went into my room, got my speaker, went into the restroom, turned on music loud, and shut the door. I started cutting myself, you know, for the first time. I blacked out on the floor, and when I woke up, there was blood everywhere. And then, nobody knew I was cutting, you know. I was cutting on my wrist right here to hide it with my watch, you know, right here. And, so yeah, that started happening when I had turned, cause rewind. That's when he had came back. Was it? I had turned 18, I think. Yeah, I had turned 18 already, and that's when he came around, and that's when he was acting like real overly protective, you know. And so we were able to talk now because I was 18. And so yeah, I started cutting. He put me through a lot. I was always asking him, did this happen between you and Perla? He's always telling me no. It's 2017. Stop! It's 2017. It's 2017. It's March. I find out I'm pregnant, you know, with my first baby, my first son. Yes, you're probably like, how stupid can this girl be to still stay with this guy? And You know, we were on and off within those times. You know, and just a lot happened. And I honestly don't know why I continued to hold on and stay with this guy. I think it's because I'm the type of person to still see the good in people. I still stay with them and give them chances. Like, if they say I'm gonna change, I'll believe it and stay, you know? And I think that's where he took advantage of me, you know? He took advantage of my feeling, not for granted, but advantage, but like he took for granted, you know, my feelings, everything, like, oh, I can still lie and stuff like that, and she'll forgive me and she'll stay, you know. And so I'm pregnant. I'm still asking him because I'm still feeling some type of way, you know, about him and this Perla girl. And so I asked him this one night, and we're at his house. I'm like maybe like 6 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant at the time. When I asked him again, and he finally came clear, it was when we were fighting. And I asked him right, and he was going crazy in his room, dropping like punching everything and dropping things, and like I'm at the corner of his bed, pregnant and crying, but I'm hiding it so he didn't ever see that I was crying, showing that I'm trying to show that I'm not scared. And then he's like, you really want to know if me and Perla really had sex? And I said, well, yeah. I said it nicely, and I said it real low, like, well, yeah. And he goes, yes, we, you know. And I was just like, okay, okay. But then that little lightning through my head said, wait, he's lying. And so I was hurt because I was like, well, dang, you lied to my face, because all these years that I've been asking you, when we were outside my grandma's house and I asked you, you looked at me straight into my eyes and you said, no, I would never do that thing. I would never do that to you. They're just lying. They just want to break us up, you know. And so I broke up with him, and we haven't got back together. It was just like for a little bit of months. And then I broke up with him when my son was 3 months old. And yeah, and then he just disappeared. He took out all our problems out on our son. And no, let's just cut that out. And yeah, and that's the time where I found out he was cheating on me. And with Perla and everything he had ever said, everything felt like a lie, you know. Everything felt like a lie to me. And so yeah, so from the beginning, since 2014, he had always lied from the beginning. And when I had confronted him, and he had finally told me that it was true, I get in return is, we weren't even together. And at the time, I considered me and him together, that we were a couple. And for him not wanting to get in trouble, like, not to consider it cheating, is him saying we weren't together. And so yeah, when everything happened, he blames that everything between him and Perla, he blamed it on her. He was saying, I was drunk at the time. I didn't know what was happening. Boy, that's just an excuse. My grandpa was drunk, and he walked home from the bar because my grandma didn't want to deal with him, and she made him sleep in the doghouse. So yeah, that's not an excuse. Using "I'm drunk" is not an excuse. So if you're gonna cheat on your significant other and use the excuse of "I was drunk, I didn't know what was going on," it's not gonna work. Well, with some girls, it's not gonna work, like me. So yeah, that's the story of when my ex cheated on me and lied to me all of those years, and I'm thankful that I was able to forgive him finally. I was able to find myself and forgive him. So yeah, I'm now happy and living my best life. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell. And yeah, if you want to hear more story times, more story times about my paranormal haunted house that things would happen, comment down below.
I'm on my last straw.